Hello again. I wasn't really planning on filming anything today because I don't want to overwhelm myself, and I don't always think I'll have enough things finished to do a weekly podcast. So it was just going to be fortnightly, but I've just finished something which I didn't even show you on the last episode that I'd started. So I wanted to come on and show you my new favourite thing. Might not have him for the next video if I was going to be recording next week because he's been made for, well, with a top secret project in mind, which if this channel is still going, you might get to hear about next summer. For anyone who knows me, that might give it away a little bit. But anyway, I present to you Bertie the Tortoise. Isn't he fabulous? I absolutely love him. So Bertie is a Toft pattern, as some of you might recognise from his face and his little legs. And he was in one of the Toft quarterly magazines. He's from the Summer 2024 magazine. I was looking for something to make. I wasn't able to join in with the top secret project for this year, but I'm really keen to be involved again for next year. So I just thought, what can I make? And Walter the Tortoise pattern just really jumped out at me. If you've seen the actual Walter the Tortoise pattern, you'll know that the colours on the back are not like this. It's more like a gradient in natural tones. I think stone, cocoa, mushroom. But I really like him. I love how bright he is. I love how chunky he is. I love his little feet. Yeah, and he's massive. He's like bigger than my head. The original pattern in the booklet is for double knit, Aran weight yarn, and it's done with a 5mm hook. It does say if you want to make a bigger tortoise, you can use bulky weight and an 8mm hook. And the one in the book that's massive is like even bigger than this again, which is what I was hoping he'd turn out like. But I held 2 strands of double knit together and used a 7mm hook, and I actually got the gauge of the original pattern, the Aran weight one. So I think this is sort of the size he'd have come out if I'd have followed it exactly from the book. I don't know about other people, but I do sometimes struggle with Toft patterns to get the gauge. Particularly, I've tried to make one of the hats, well, 2 of the hats actually, from the Toft quarterlies, and I do have to go down on my needle size when I'm knitting. I know when you're making amigurumi and doing crochet, unless you're making it for a very specific reason or you're making a crochet garment, I know the gauge doesn't matter quite as much. But yeah, I did have the Toft Advent the year before last, and you get the little measuring gauge as one of the days so that you can check that you're not going to run out of yarn, basically. And I do find I have to crochet really quite tightly to get the right gauge, but then with the knitting I have to go down a size. So it is just trial and error a little bit. But I'm really pleased with how he's turned out. These are just scraps of yarn that I had. Basically, if you've been crafting for a long time like I have, you do end up with lots and lots of odds and ends. So for the squares on his back, I held a colour with a neutral like this, and then I held 2 strands of these neutral colours together. I think it was Stylecraft Parchment in the Special DK, and there's also probably a bit of Shapier's Colour Crafter in there as well from when I made the Rosetta blanket. I might dig that out and show that to you in a future episode. The green on his shell is Stylecraft Special Chunky, which matched pretty well the gauge of holding the 2 strands of the DK together. But yeah, I wanted to come on and show him because he's just gorgeous. And he does actually stand up. I can't really show you here without messing up the camera and showing what a tip my craft room is. But he does stand up, his head's a little bit wobbly, so I don't know if I maybe just need to make like a little lettuce or something that'll sort of make it obvious he's eating and not just that he's got a floppy head. But he's also got a little tail there as well. He's super cute. I did have to watch the Toft video for Walter the Tortoise. I don't want this to sound like I'm down on Toft, but I do find sometimes the instructions in the patterns are just a little bit vague. Like particularly for the tail, it told you how to crochet the tail, but then it didn't actually tell you what to do with the tail, like just sew it flat across the top, where do you sew it on, and also attaching the shell. The top shell, as you can see, is bigger than the underneath shell, and it just says, well, I won't tell you because it's a paid for pattern, but it's very basic, the instructions in the booklet, but there is a video available on YouTube which made it much clearer. I think I'd have struggled without that to just get my head around exactly what some of the instructions meant. But I hope you like him. I love him. I might one day make another one, maybe just using DK and a different needle, a different hook, to make him a little bit smaller, because yeah, he's a little bit big to just have living in my craft room. But I'm going to be taking him with me on Saturday to the first meeting for the Top Secret project, and hopefully they will love him just as much as I do, because he's just so cute. I actually stuffed him with an old pillow. I don't know if that's the done thing, but he's for display, he's not for playing with, he's not for people to take home and cuddle, so I didn't think it would matter too much, but I'm actually quite glad that I did, because I've used pretty much half a standard pillow to stuff him, because yeah, stuffing this shell was not an easy thing to do. It took a lot of stuffing, because I wanted them quite firm. I know a lot of Toft toys, if you watch Kerry, she says not to stuff them too firmly, because when you sit them down you want them to be like a bit flobbly, a bit wobbly and floppy. But I think his shell needed to be firm just to give him that shape, and also so that he'll stand up properly. But yeah, I've called him Bertie. The original pattern is called Walter the Tortoise. So if you wanted to look him up, he was in the Toft Quarterly for summer 2024, and I think there are kits available on the Toft website. But yeah, that's Walter. So thank you very, very much to everyone who watched my first video. I did just launch into that then, didn't I, talking about Walter, rather than thanking everyone who's watched it and people who've been in touch and said that they liked the video. So thank you very much for that. It was quite nerve-wracking deciding to come on and start talking to people that I don't know on the internet, but I've actually really enjoyed it, and I hope the people who've watched it so far have enjoyed it. If you do like it, I'd really like it if you could leave me a little comment or a like, or just maybe tell other people that you liked it so that they could watch it. Yeah, I don't really know how you get lots of views. Not that I'm bothered about having lots and lots of views, but it would be nice to just build up a little bit of a community, especially especially for like going to yarn shows and stuff. I go with me sister-in-law and my friends, and we have a lovely day out, but I always get nervous chatting to people, so yeah, I'm hoping that this will bring me out of myself a little bit more, and I'll feel more confident chatting to people when I go to things like that. When I go to the Port Sunlight Festival in a few weeks, I'll be going to that one with my husband, but he has a threshold for these things, so I will be on my own a little bit. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing Amanda from Little Light Hack, because I really love watching her videos, and I get all embarrassed, but I'm hoping to go over and just say, I really like your videos and thank you for inspiring me to try and do this myself. So one more thing, you might be able to spot it there. In the last video, I was knitting the Autumn Vibes shawl from the 52 Weeks of Scarves book, and it's now finished and blocked, which I have to say the blocking was miraculous. I haven't sewn the ends in, so yeah, I'm not the best at sewing the ends in, but there's only a few, so it shouldn't take me long. But last time you saw this, it was all bunched up on the needles, but now it's done. There we go. And I am absolutely thrilled with it. So the gauge is quite loose, showing as being a bit see-through on there, but it's really not. As it was done on a 5mm needle. Can you see that? But yeah, I love how the detail is really opened up around the edge with the crisscrosses and the sort of rib. It's just so pretty and really effective for quite a simple pattern. I really need to get better at when I do a garter tab cast on, not doing it so tight. I don't know if you can see, there's like a little bit of a bulge, which isn't ideal. And that happened. I've also made the Terra shawl. Ooh, I've gone all bright. I don't know how to change it. I made the Terra shawl by Hoagie Locatelli, and that starts in the same way. And yeah, it just makes a little bit of a bulge, and no amount of blocking will get rid of that. But yeah, that bit's up by your neck, so doesn't really matter, does it? I made the small size, and it's just right. I think it's yeah, it's pretty. I'll put it on. It's not quite as hot as it has been. Yeah, just need to work out how you'd do it to see the pattern. Maybe tuck that in like that. There we go. But yeah, it's really nice, and the yarn is really lovely. It's like I said last week, it's wool tops, DK organic wool, and I actually have nearly a full skein left. I did have to cake this up, and I did need to make a start on it. You can see, probably see the join, but I did have some knots, which, you know, it was £6 a skein, so you can't really complain about there being some knots. But it did mean I don't trust the knots in a ball, so I pulled those apart and then just joined them as the usual sort of the weave and Stephen, and then I do which is a Stephen West recommended joining technique, and then I will go along and do like did sort of duplicate stitch, which I saw Ellie from Craft House Magic doing, just to hide those ends that little bit more and make sure it's properly secure. But yeah, that's the Autumn Vibes shawl from 52 Weeks of Scarves. I do need to photograph it and update my Ravelry page and weigh my yarn and all the rest of it. So yeah, that's that. I'm really tempted to start something new, like really, really tempted, but I know I probably shouldn't. I haven't got loads on the needles. I've got the Iceland Scape Shawl by West Knits. I've also got Herbivore Shawl by West Knits. I'm a bit obsessed. And also the Fluffy Jumper that I showed you last week. So I've got no business starting something else, but I really, really want to make the Halibut sweater by Caitlin Hunter. I've wanted to make it for absolutely ages, and I have done a bit of colour work in a sweater before. I made the Celebrate sweater from the 52 Weeks of Scrap Yarn. I'll show that in a future video, maybe when it gets cold enough for me to wear it, but I don't love it because I've made it a little bit too big. I'm terrible for not doing gauge swatches, but anyway. But yeah, I'd really like to make the Halibut sweater. I did buy yarn it's quite sad really seeing on the news everything that's happening in France and Spain. And last year we actually went to Bordeaux on our holiday. We did 4 days in the centre of Bordeaux and then 3 days just outside Saint-Emilion. And in Bordeaux I visited a fabulous yarn shop called La Lainerie with a gorgeous owner called Marilyn, who was just so nice and so friendly, and spoke English infinitely better than I can speak French, despite an 837-day streak on Duolingo. But I did buy some yarn there with the intention of making the halibut sweater. I should have got the yarn out so I could show you in this video, but I'm probably going to wind it into cakes so I can make a start on it. So yeah, I bought Sayama yarn in like a dark green and then a lighter green for doing the colour work. Thought I'd bought enough and came home, looked up the pattern and realised I didn't have enough of the light green to do the colour work. So this poor sweater hasn't even been started yet, and it's become a bit of a like saga of like 2 countries, because earlier this year we visited Wrocław in Poland, and obviously when we booked it, one of the first things I did was look for a yarn shop. We did find one. It was gorgeous. They had so much petite Sandnes garn. They had Mayak, which I've never seen in like available before. You probably can buy it in the UK, but I'd never seen it in person. So I did actually buy 4 mini skeins of Mayak. I also bought some Sandnes garn worsted with the intention of making the Frigg sweater from the 52 Weeks of Sweaters book. And I was able to find the same light green in the Sayama yarn, and I just bought enough. So it does mean I've got too much because I've got the other stuff from France that isn't enough. But I knew like a year late, like 9 months later, there was just no way I'd be able to get the same dye lot. So yeah, I feel like I want to start my French-Polish mashup of a halibut sweater, and I'd love to have it finished for Yarn Dial. But yeah, I'm not sure that's going to happen because I get to Sleeve Island and then I get bored. I did get a list from Yarndale the other day of their exhibitors, and it said, I think it said it was 8 weeks till the show. So I don't know, maybe I can do it. It's a DK weight yarn, 20 stitches, 28 rows, which I'm fairly confident I can get without gauge swatching. I know. And yeah, I think it's meant to be quite cropped, and it's quite a deep yoke. So I'm kind of hoping that if I did start it, it wouldn't be it wouldn't take forever. It's still a jumper. It's got colour work, which obviously slows you down a little bit, but I don't know, maybe I just need to give it a go and just get it started. And then if it's not finished by Yarndale, then it'll be finished by the end of autumn, at least, which, you know, the way the weather's been lately, I certainly don't need any jumpers right now. But yeah, those are my plans. I'd really also I was desperate to join in with Christmas in July, but it's just been too hot. And my Christmas in July project was going to be, and I actually have this next to me, the Serdar Christmas 2024 gingerbread crochet along. I bought this kit from Lottie and Albert, who's the designer. I bought it at Yarndale last year. I made the mistake of buying it quite early on and then had to carry it around with me for the whole day. But I knew she only had limited numbers of the kits, and I think it was £30, which was quite cheap. And we went on the Sunday, so I knew that once it had gone, she did not have any more. So yeah, if you haven't seen this, isn't that fabulous? I just absolutely love it. I do not need any more giant blankets in my life. I've done I think it's called the Rosetta, the stained glass window. at the start of the year, I finally finished the d'Histoire Naturelle, one of the Shapier's crochet alongs from a few years ago. And I also did the King Charles coronation blanket. When was the coronation? 23, I think. So I've made that as well. And I've got a box, like a storage thing on top of the wardrobe, which is basically a lot of my blankets all folded up just to keep them nice. So I've got no business making this really, but I just fell in love with it. And sometimes you just need a gorgeous crochet project that you can just pick up and put down and come back to when you feel like you need something just to do on an evening with like the telly on. I do feel more confident crocheting than knitting. I've been knitting for like 5 years now, and I'd like to think that I'm not too bad at it. But yeah, crochet is just always going to be my first love. But yeah, crocheting blankets, there's just something so nice about it, isn't it? Because especially as we get into the colder months, because as you get it bigger, it's all on your knee and it's all cozy, and you can just think to yourself, oh, wait till it's finished, like I'll just be able to snuggle up under it. I did actually make the West Yorkshire Spinners mosaic crochet Christmas blanket a few years ago. The kit was a birthday present from my husband. Yeah, I should be getting these things out to show you, shouldn't I, rather than just mentioning them. But maybe I'll do what Ellie from Craft House Magic does and add on a little blast from the past thing, and just slowly show you projects that I've made over the years. I suppose that'd be quite a nice way of, instead of just listening to me trying to think of things to waffle on about, I could show you some of the things that I've made. So yeah, that gingerbread blanket, that's on my list of things to start. The chances are I'll start it and it will not be finished by Christmas. It's actually a lot more detailed than when you actually look up close. There's a heck of a lot of work in there. And it was so nice to see the actual blanket at Yarndale. It's a bit like when you go to Janie Crow's stand. I'd absolutely love to make a Janie Crow blanket. I just don't know if I've got the stamina and I've got the patience and that I would have the inclination to tie in all the ends. They're absolutely stunning, and I have a real admiration for people who make them. But all those colour changes, oh my goodness. Is it called Love Is Enough? That one is absolutely stunning, and I really, really like the there's like a wrap, like a Rambling Rose wrap. That's probably not what it's called. I think it was Inside Crochet magazine as like a crochet along, and then when the rights went back to Janie Crow, she sells kits with the pattern, but that's absolutely stunning as well. Maybe one for when I'm retired. And I've just got infinite time to do my crafts. That's the dream, isn't it, I suppose. Yeah. But anyway, the tortoise was really the main reason I've come back on today, because I knew I wouldn't have him next week to show you if I recorded a video next week. So I'm still not sure what I'm doing with these videos. I enjoyed videoing it. I've enjoyed videoing this one today. I'm going to put this up on YouTube and hopefully you'll enjoy watching it. Be lovely to know what you're working on at the moment. If anyone's made the halibut sweater, let me know. Try and give me some little words of encouragement. And yeah, it'd be really nice if you could like the video, and yeah, you don't have to subscribe, but that'd be nice as well. So hope to see you again soon. I'm gonna go and get some dinner because I'm hungry, and yeah, I'll get this uploaded onto YouTube, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Bye!